start of tonight's game right after this message.
One game has already been postponed because of rain, actually the doubleheader involving the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees at Shea Stadium. So this is where the crunch really comes in, and it's hitting them right in the last 5 games of the season. A doubleheader postponed because of rain, so now they've got 2 games to make up because of the rain situation. Continuous rain forcing postponement of Wednesday's scheduled twilight, the second consecutive day that 2 clubs have been washed out. Now, although the Yankees are idle on Thursday, the Red Sox will be at home to Cleveland, so that eliminates the possibility of completing that series then. No determination has been made as yet by the American League on when the 2 games between Boston and New York will be made up, if at all. The Red Sox held a 4-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles in the American League East, and if the games become critical, Boston and the Yankees could meet next Monday, the day after the regular season ends. So that's the latest as far as the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox are concerned.
Well, the weather conditions at the stadium, and we might be forced to talk as much about the weather as about the ball game tonight. It has now started to rain again. It's raining very lightly. With this kind of a rain, I would think that Mr. Shylock and the other members of his crew will allow the ball game to just keep right on going. And if it doesn't get any heavier than this, heck, I think they could play, as long as they need to play. Let's hope that it does not get any heavier than this, and that the Orioles will be able to get this game in. For those of you who missed the information earlier tonight, the Yankees and the Red Sox were postponed in their would-be doubleheader at Shea. If the game has any bearing on the standings, that doubleheader that the Yankees and the Red Sox missed tonight at Shea Stadium will be replayed Monday and in New York. The original word was that it would be replayed in Boston. That has been corrected, and if it is necessary, and certainly the Orioles hope it's necessary, the Red Sox-Yankee doubleheader rained out tonight would be played Monday in New York. Well, we didn't expect to say this, but it is with a great deal of pleasure. Tonight, we're ready for Oriole baseball, and with pleasure, Bill O'Donnell.
Thank you, Chuck, and good evening, everybody. We play ball now as Palmer's first pitch has been fouled into a kind of a vacant upper deck by Ron LaFleur. He's the Tiger leadoff man and a guy with a great deal of speed. LaFleur, 260 batter. Palmer in now, kicks and fires. He's too low to LaFleur. 1 ball and 1 strike. LaFleur, Molinaro, and Ogilvie, the start of the Detroit attack and the start of the ball game. Palmer's 1-1 delivery. He is inside to go 2 balls and 1 strike. So we start now at 10 minutes of 9, what had hoped to be a 5:30 doubleheader, but what instead now will become, hopefully, just 1 ball game. 2-1 to LaFleur, and he sends a chopper towards the shortstop. Belanger has it right into the grass, and he throws out LaFleur, and he just got him barely. LaFleur's high and kind of hard chopper had Belanger charge it just 1 step behind the grass, and then when Mark made his put-out throw, he was on the infield grass. Here's Bob Molinaro, just joined the Tigers several days ago after his Evansville ball club completed the playoffs. With Evansville, he batted .287. He has only been up 7 times as a Tiger under Ralph Hout. He has gone 3 for 7 in the Tiger uniform. He is a left-hand batter, and he's in the middle of the box, and Palmer's a bit outside, ball 1. Now, Molinaro has kind of an unusual style with a wig-wag of his bat. He takes kind of jab cuts with his bat, the 1-0 pitch. Here's a high pop-up, the shortstop, Belanger. Now 1, maybe 2 steps back on the soggy outfield grass, and he's got it. Molinaro's gone. That'll bring on Ben Ogilvie. He didn't have too bad a Tiger series when the Orioles played a weekend of games at Detroit 2 weekends ago. Matter of fact, he was 4 for 10, and he also had a pair of walks. Ogilvie is batting .294, 9 home runs, 36 runs batted in. He has not been a bright spot all year long, but has been kind of a bright Tiger spot maybe the last month or so. Ogilvie, a left-hand batter. By the way, Palmer's infield tonight has May and Gritch, first and second, Belanger and Brooks, short and third, and his outfield is Baylor, Blair, and Singleton. And they play Ogilvie around to right field, a changeup down towards third. Brooks has it up to the grass. Brooks to first base, and Palmer's got a good start as he 1-2-3s LaFleur, Molinaro, and Ogilvie. After the first half inning, the Tigers nothing, and now the Birds are coming up.
One afternoon game in Major League Baseball. That was at Chicago. Skip Lockwood walking Bill Madlack, the Major League's leading hitter, but the only problem was the bases were loaded in the 11th inning when he did it, and that gave the Cubs a 1-0 victory over the New York Mets. The most disappointed player for the Mets had to be starter Tom Seaver, who lost a no-hitter with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Joe Wallace with a count of 2 strikes on him, and he looped a single into the outfield for a base hit, and that was it. As a matter of fact, Seaver had a perfect game until they walked on Kessinger in the 7th, and then left the game for a pinch hitter in the 11th after blanking the Cubs on 3 hits. In the 11th, Lockwood gave up a single to Rick Monday and walked Wallace in a 3-2 count after Jose Cardinal sacrificed. Andy Thornton was passed intentionally to fill the bases, and Matlack walked on a 3-1 pitch to end the game. Rick Russell and relief pitcher Ken Crosby shut out the Mets on 5 hits. So, the Chicago Cubs over the New York Mets by the score of 1-0. That's the only afternoon game in Major League Baseball. San Francisco and Atlanta, first game of a doubleheader. That's a 5-5 tie after 8 at Atlanta, bar against Morton.
Well, a couple of ball clubs just finishing up the year. Milwaukee and Cleveland have played 5. It's Milwaukee 5, Cleveland nothing. Peterson started that when it was knocked out in the 2nd inning, and Brown came on. Colburn is pitching for Milwaukee. In the National League tonight, we have a 5-5 tie. The Giants in Atlanta, they're now in the 11th inning, and that's the first game of a doubleheader. Bill?
All right, right-hander Joe Coleman, Oriole leadoff batter Al Bunbury, and the Tiger right-hander is in low in ball 1. Bunbury starts this ball game batting .270. He's got 2 homers, 31 runs batted in. The next delivery, and it's the 1-0. It's a bit too high. Make it ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Coleman to Bunbury, right-hander to left-hander. Now he's got a strike at the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike. Blair after Bunbury, and then Singleton third in the order. Coleman has signs, flashed down by Freehand. Here's a high foul to the upper deck. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is Coleman's 6th outing against the Orioles. In the 5 previous games, he's won 2, he's lost 3. Career-wise, he's won 13 over the Birds and dropped 15. Now the 2-2 coming. It's low, 3-2. The infield for the Tigers, Rodriguez and Verizon play 3rd and short. Manuel and Maya are cut at 2nd and 1st. We told you about Freehand behind the plate. Ogilvy, LaFleur, and Molinaro in the outfield. A ground ball towards the second baseman, pulled down by Manuel, and he throws out Bunbury. That's out number 1. Here we go now with Blair, hot of late, very hot of late with the bat. He has built his average up to 219, 5 homers, 28 runs batted in. The season series, by the way, is decidedly an Orioles season series. They've won 11 of the 15 games played. Blair has fouled the first one right back. More recently, the Orioles have licked the Tigers 6 straight. They've also taken 10 of the last 11 games from the Tigers. 1 gone here in the opening inning. We have no score. The strike 1 delivery. Blair watches it speed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The big danger in the ballpark tonight is strictly the outfield. The 1-1 pitch. Blair ducks away and it's inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. The crew chief, Nestor Shylock, has the plate tonight on balls and strikes. We'll pick up the baseline umpires for you in just a moment. First, the 2-1 to Blair. Fouled right back on the netting, 2-2. Larry McCoy is at first base. Joe Brinkman is at second, and Terry Cooney is the umpire at third. Coleman got Bunbury on a ground ball to second. He's got Blair in a 2-ball, 2-strike situation and fires. Breaking ball is low, and we're full of 3-2. Coleman has not enjoyed 1975 too much, and of course the Tigers haven't as a club. He's won 10 and lost 17. Here's a strike 3 called. He got it at the knees, and he got it on the outside edge. And with Singleton coming up, let's pause for station identification on the Orioles Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
2 up, 2 gone in the Oriole opening inning, and here's Singleton now, batting a .302. Leads the club with that average, 15 home runs and 54 runs batted in. Here's a swing by Ken and a strike for Coleman. The 6 previous games played here by these 2 teams have been divided. They've both won 3. 0-1, way inside of the hands were 1 ball and 1 strike. At Detroit, however, where they played 9 games and are finished up there, the Orioles have won 8 of the 9. 1-1 to Singleton. Ground ball at second baseman Manuel. He pulls it down hip high, and he throws out Singleton. So after a 3.5-hour wait to start the ball game, we've got a rapidly played first inning. At the end of 1, Orioles nothing, the Tigers nothing.
once again, rain, the big situation here in Baltimore. It's been raining for about 2 days in this area of the country, and the game yesterday was postponed because of rain, forcing a doubleheader on this Wednesday stateside. Now, the problem is they will not play a doubleheader on this night because of the rain delay. The game was scheduled to start, the first of the doubleheader, at 5:30 Eastern Daylight Time. That was about 3.5 hours or so ago. But they want to get one of these ball games in, so they're going to play one game only. And there's a crowd of about 1,000 or so there at Memorial Stadium, and galoshes and umbrellas and so forth. And so that's what they're going to do. Now, Memorial Stadium has a regular turf, and they don't have the benefit of our artificial surface there, but it does drain well. They will be splashing around a lot on the outfield, but it does drain, and there's not a problem with standing water. So an eye to the sky in Baltimore tonight as the Orioles and the Tigers try to get in one game of a scheduled doubleheader.
Again, for the benefit of late tuners in, the Yankees and the Red Sox were unable to play at Shea Stadium. They had their doubleheader postponed, and, look at it realistically, it looks like that might have been a little bit of a break for the Boston Red Sox. They get an extra day for Louis Tiant, and they also miss Catfish Hunter and Rudy May.
All right, Chuck, after a scoreless first inning, both pitchers had strong starts, 1-2-3 to everybody. Here's a ground ball off Horton's bat, glove side of Belanger and by the Orioles shortstop, and it really slows down on that soggy outfield grass, and Horton winds up with the first hit of the ball game. A slashing single just about up the middle of the infield. So Horton on to begin the Tigers' second, and here comes first baseman Dan Meyer. Meyer to start the year, an outfielder, lately turned infielder and Tiger first baseman with 8 home runs, 47 runs batted in. And although the Tigers will wind up their baseball, most of them, this Sunday, Meyer's baseball this fall will continue down in Florida. He's going to be part of that Florida Instructional League playing for the Tigers down in northern Florida. The pitch is high and ball 1 to Meyer. Horton's a base runner, and he's being held right now by Lee May. Meyer in the box with Freehan standing in the on-deck area. Meyer with a line drive towards center, and he splashes a base hit in front of Blair. That'll stop Horton at second base. So after Palmer had a routine first inning now, he's quickly in hot water in the second inning. Horton bounced a single to center. Meyer has just lined a single to center field. So 2 on, nobody out. Horton's at second. Meyer's at first, and here's the veteran, Tiger receiver, Bill Freehan. A .245 batter this year with 14 home runs and 46 runs batted in. Palmer this evening coming out for his 37th start. He is due to have a start this weekend if all 4 games are played at Shea Stadium against the Yankees. So he's going for number 22 tonight. Conceivably could become, if he wins tonight, also a 23-game winner before the year is over. Now to Freehan, and he took off, laid the bat in front of the plate, and then took a high pitch for ball 1. Freehan on the first pitch looked like he had a notion to get Horton to third and Meyer to second. And the Orioles play May right to the infield grass in front of Meyer. They've also got Brooks tight to the infield grass on the other side. Let's see what Freehan does 1-0. He's up to take a full cut and doesn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rodriguez is behind Freehan. Now Bill is out of the box to check up with his third base coach, Joe Schultz. May at first base and Brooks at third stay about the same spots. Brooks is backing up maybe a step behind the grass. Palmer looking right back to Horton. Now to Freehan, turning and bunting and fouled the right of home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 weekends ago, when the Orioles played the Tigers at Tiger Stadium, they won 3 straight games, and they were only involved really in 1 tight kind of tussle. That was the opening game, which they won 6-4, and then they just clubbed the Tigers in the 2 other games, 8-0 and 9-3. And in that 3-game series, they also totaled 27 hits with a total of 23 runs off Tiger pitching. Freehan waiting 1-2, and here it comes. The breaking ball is just low and outside, and barely low and outside. Ball 2 and strike 2. Palmer has backed just a step behind the rubber. Now he's going to foot into the rubber and check once more with Hendricks. He'll give a quick look back to Horton. 2-2 to Freehan. Here's a line shot towards left center field. It's in for a base hit. Horton is turning third base. Horton is coming home, and the throw goes by the cutoff man at the mound and then comes in towards the third baseline and is picked up by Palmer. So Freehan gets the third straight Tiger hit here in the second inning. With the base knock, he knocks over Horton to make it 1-0 the Tigers. Meyer has stopped at second base. Freehan drives over his 47th run of the year. Still nobody out. The Tiger base situation stays the same as Horton scampers over. Meyer's now at second, and Freehan is the runner at first. And we're going to have activity in the Oriole bullpen with Wayne Garland. Here's Rodriguez, the right-hand batter. The Tiger third baseman with a mark of 247. Now on the first pitch to Freehan, he tried to lay something down. Let's see if Rodriguez does that with 2 on, nobody out. He's turning, and he's bunting and doesn't get it. A throw to second. Meyer's on his way to third. The throw is late. Throw back to second. Safe at second is Freehan. Meyer started to foot towards third, then stopped, then broke, and beat the toss from Hendricks behind the plate. On the strike count to Rodriguez attempting to bunt, both runners have advanced. So first base is open. Now, instead of just one Tiger being a scoring spot, both are in scoring spots. Strike one to Rodriguez. Freehan at second, Meyer at third, nobody out, and the Tigers leading early, 1-0 in the second inning. Rodriguez up there to take a full cut, spies the pitch and takes the strike, and it's 0-2. Palmer in great difficulty, more difficulty now than he was minutes ago. To Rodriguez with his 0-2. Fastball he swings and doesn't get it. Rodriguez is the first out. He is also the first strikeout of the game for Jim Palmer. He's given up 3 straight hits and a go-ahead Tiger run in the second inning. Here's Verizor. Tom Verizor, the Tiger shortstop, batting at .256. The outfield to Verizor, straight away in every spot. Now, no matter where you move in the outfield, it's a little bit treacherous. The danger spots in the outfield are straightaway left field and straightaway shallow left. Here's a swing and a miss at a high, hard one. There's a lot of open water. I would say maybe 10 to 15 yards directly behind the hole on the left side of the infield. And then maybe about 30 feet further back, more towards the left field foul line, more open water. 0-1. Check swing foul is back to the irons, and it's 0-2. There are also some treacherous spots down on the warning path and just inside the left and the right field foul lines before you get to the closed corners in left and right. First baseman Lee May is wide of the line, even with a bag on Verizor. Brooks slightly deeper at third base, but he is also off the line on Verizor. Palmer has runners off second and third. Meyer off third, Freehan off second. A swing and a miss, and a belt-high jammer to get Verizor out of there. So back-to-back strikeouts, as Palmer now has reached back against the last 2 batters and thrown some good-looking pills to get third swinging strikes. Here's Jerry Manuel, batted .228 with the Evansville club. Since being called up from that AAA Tiger affiliate, he's been up 7 times without a base hit. He is a left-hand batting Tigers second baseman, better known with the Evansville club as a good guy with a glove and only average with a bat. Runners lead with 2 out. Inside, shoulder high, and ball 1 to Manuel. He is batting 9th in Ralph Houck's order. Now, after a delay of more than 3 hours, about 3 hours and 20 minutes to get this one game underway, we had some light rain falling at the first pitch. Fastball fanned at and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. We have still some light rain falling, but not the kind of rain that at the moment should jeopardize play. Freehan, who knocked over the Tiger run, is off second base. Meyer coming off the cushion at third. The 1-1 to Manuel. A strike at his letters. 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the Tiger second, Horton grounded a base hit to center. Meyer lined a hit to center to advance Horton to second base. Freehan drove over Horton with his base hit to center. Palmer has gotten the last 2 on strikes, Rodriguez and Verizor. He's ahead of Manuel and kicks and throws high and outside. He's ball 2 and strike 2. Palmer has worked over 300 innings this year, 305 to be exact, coming in. And his walk-strikeout ratio is extremely good. 2-2 to Manuel. The breaking ball, strike 3. After giving up a run and 3 hits, Palmer then strikes out the side. 2 swinging, the last one looking. 1 run, 3 Detroit hits, 2 Tigers left on. In the middle of the second, Tigers 1, Orioles nothing.
Here's top news and brief from American Contemporary Radio. I'm Keith Berman. The Senate Intelligence Committee has voted to question former President Nixon about the Houston plan, a domestic surveillance program set up during his administration. At the same time, a federal judge tonight ordered the former president to answer questions in a civil suit concerning phone taps. 14 big city mayors asked President Ford again today to bail New York City out of its financial crisis. Later, New York Mayor Abe Beame talked about the meeting.
I must say, yes, the President indicated that we ought to submit what we have, what our thoughts are, but I was not encouraged, and I'm disappointed about it.
Mayor Abe Beame of New York. 2 convicts wielding knives continue to hold 6 hostages tonight at the Indiana State Prison in Michigan City. William and Emily Harris will be taken to Los Angeles tonight to face 18 state charges, bail set at $500,000 apiece. And that's ABC News in brief. Keith Berman reporting for American Contemporary Radio.
All right, Lee May now in the Orioles' second inning. They've got a run to tie Coleman and the Tigers, and here's a high fly ball towards left field. Ogilvie coming up on that very soggy, wet outfield grass. Ogilvie runs it down, and he made sure that he came tiptoeing with the outfield grass under him. May has gone on a high drive to the left fielder, and here's John Baylor. Now, when the Orioles swept that 3-game series at Tiger Stadium 2 weekends ago, Baylor had a fine series. He went 4 for 12, and one of his base hits was his 22nd home run. He has hit another home run since, so we've got 23 homers, and to boot 74 runs batted in. To Coleman's pitch now, and a looking strike, belt high. Baylor leads the club, not only in home runs, but also in stolen bases. He's got 29 steals to go with those 23 four-baggers. The slider from Coleman is the ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 man out, nobody on. Orioles batting in the second, and they are the trailing ball club 1-0. The next one to Baylor. Outside, a slider again from right-hander Coleman. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, there is a doubleheader scheduled tomorrow night. 2-1 to Baylor from Coleman. He got a jammer right into his belt. 3 balls, 1 strike. Birds have won their last 4 straight. They've also copped 14 of their last 17. They've taken 19 of their last 26. Coleman moving the ball back and forth there, hand, glove hand, now delivers, and a swing and a foul off to the left of the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Baylor with Grich to follow. Baylor played deep in left by Ogilvie, and also very deep in center field by LaFleur. The windup in the 3-2 to Baylor. Inside, he gets a 1-out ticket now from Coleman. So with 1 away in the second inning, the Orioles have a tie marker aboard and bring up Bobby Grich.
Number 3.
Orioles' second sacker batting at .257. Bobby shows 13 home runs. He also has 56 runs batted in. Now, these 2 ball clubs, in terms of batting averages, team-wise, there's not too much to choose. One's batting .253, the other one batting .251. But there is a decided difference in the success, obviously, of the 2 pitching staffs. Coleman is going to give Baylor's lead a good look and drives them back, and Don has to dive in. He just scratched his way back to the bag. All you have to do is look at the ERAs of the respective staffs, and you know why they're in different spots in the division. 1 out, 1 on. And now Grich has a pitch. He fans and doesn't get it. Strike 1. The Oriole ERA is 3.1 runs a game. The ERA of the Tiger staff, 4.2 runs a game. Coleman gives a peek over to Baylor. And Baylor steps back on Coleman's flip to Meyer. Coleman giving some attention to Freehand, more to Baylor, the runner. In he comes with a breaking ball outside to Grich. 1 ball and 1 strike. In terms of complete games, the Orioles staff has finished 68. The Tiger staff has finished 52. Coleman with a nod of the head to Freehand. To Grich, 1-1. Fastball hit high towards left field. Ogilvy is backing. He is under it in deep left and makes the putout. Grich becomes out number 2. Baylor goes back to first base. And here comes Elrod Hendricks. The Orioles had, of course, a number of hitting heroes in their 2 one-sided victories, plus the 6-4 win in the sweep of the 3-game series at Tiger Stadium. And here is one of them. Elrod Hendricks had 2 hits in the Tiger series, but both were home runs. He had number 7 and 8 this year against the Tigers, and he also drove in 5 runs with those 2 homers. Baylor does not go. He wanted to go, but lost his footing as Hendricks takes a strike. Baylor was maybe 2 steps out of his lead, then stumbled. He regained his balance and came back. Baylor clawing some dirt now out of his spikes as he gets daylight away from Meyer. The 0-1 pitch, they pitch out, and Baylor was staying. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hendricks, a .215 batter, 8 homers, 37 runs batted in. Coleman with 2 outs stands 1-1 with Elrod. Now turns, throws over to first base again, and Baylor is stepping back. Rodriguez way off the bag at third base and only a step back of the grass. Verizon, the shortstop, is practically behind second. So 1-1. Breaking ball, he swings and doesn't get it. Coleman pulled the string on the breaking pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baylor became a 1-out base runner with a walk, and he's still at first base after Grich's fly ball to left. Coleman arms down by the side. Now straightens up, and Baylor runs. The pitch is high. Freehand throws to second. It's in front of the bag, and Baylor has his 30th steal. The throw of the shortstop, Verizon, was taken between the bag and the infield grass by the Tiger shortstop. So Baylor now gets into a scoring spot with 2 outs and a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Hendricks. Orioles up in the 2nd inning. They haven't reached Coleman for a base hit yet, and they are down to Detroit 1-0. In addition to that being Baylor's 30th steal of the year, it also becomes the Orioles, as a team, their 101st steal of the season. Verizon way back of Baylor's leadoff second. 2-2 to Hendricks. Here's a line drive towards right. Molinaro comes on. Can't make a play on it. Baylor's trying to score. The throw home is down the first baseline. Freehand throws to second. In safely is Hendricks. Hendricks with a rope to right field knocks in Baylor. So the Orioles' first hit of the ball game is a key base knock. Hendricks drives in his 38th run on the bad throw home by Molinaro. Hendricks also scoots to second. A 1-1 tie in the 2nd inning, and here's Brooks. So now Brooks with a chance to move the Orioles ahead. 5 homers, 52 RBIs for Brooks. Hendricks at second base. He just cashed in Baylor. And now Brooks trying to compliment what Hendricks did. Coleman throws. A swing and a miss at his slider. No balls and 1 strike. Belanger is kneeling on deck. A walk, a steal, a base hit, and a run here in the Orioles' 2nd inning. Coleman again peeking back. Delivers. Here's a ground ball slowly by the mound. The second baseman, Manuel, digs it out. He throws out Robinson to retire the side. The Orioles get a run with a hit and leave Hendricks on. After the 2nd inning tonight, Orioles won, the Tigers won.
The picture in the American League East, baseball's closest pennant race, is not any clearer at this moment. Rain washed out Boston's game with the Yankees in New York on Tuesday, and also postponed Baltimore's contest with Detroit. The Red Sox, who have a 4-game lead, play a twilight doubleheader with the Yankees on Wednesday. That was the schedule, but that was also postponed because of rain. The Orioles and the Tigers have 2 games scheduled in Baltimore, but because of the bad weather conditions, they are playing just 1 game. Minnesota stalled Oakland's bid for a 5th straight Western Division title by nipping the A's 4-3 behind right-hander Bert Blyleven. Kansas City, which is only a game away from elimination, moved to within 5 games of the A's by blanking Texas 4-0. In other American League games Tuesday, Cleveland edged Milwaukee 4-3, and Chicago topped California 5-4. In the National League, Pittsburgh over Philadelphia 3-1, Cincinnati 5, Houston 3. The Mets dumped the Cubs 8-6, Montreal 7, St. Louis nothing, and Randy Jones became the first 20-game winner in the history of the San Diego Padres as the Padres beat Los Angeles 6-4. San Francisco and Atlanta rained out.
Well, as you know, the Orioles, the Tigers will try it again tomorrow, try to play a doubleheader tomorrow, and Friday of this week, the Orioles will have another doubleheader against the Yankees. It is our understanding the Yankees plan to pitch Catfish Hunter and Doc Medich against the Orioles Friday night.
Chuck Ron LaFleur in the Tiger third, and the Detroit leadoff man is thrown a curve and a strike by Palmer. LaFleur began the game bouncing out short to first. Hill, one pitch, is too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. LaFleur, Molinaro, and Ogilvie. When Palmer took him on in the opening inning, he scratched out each one, 1, 2, 3. 1-1 to the right-hand batter, LaFleur. Here's a foul down the right field side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, obviously, we do not have too many people in the ballpark, but what is for certain, however, is the fact, as far as I know, the Orioles have drawn tonight their 1 millionth fan. 1-2 to LaFleur. Fastball hit high towards right field. Singleton coming up on the ball and flashing on the outfield grass makes the first out. Here's Molinaro, the right fielder for the Tigers.
Right fielder.
Palmer got Molinaro on a pop-up to Belanger in the first inning. Molinaro's been up 8 times as a Tiger since being called up from Evansville. He's gone 3 for 8. He was .287 with the AAA ball club at Evansville. Low and outside in ball 1. Molinaro has kind of a herky-jerk style as he flicks his bat back and forth. Hits a foul back behind the plate. It will reach the seats downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a 1-1 game. The Tigers batting in the third. Now, the weather tonight permitted only the start of this one game. A doubleheader had been scheduled at 5:30, and it kept raining and raining until about 8:15 tonight. And they finally started this game about 10 minutes of 9. 1-1 to the left-hand batter. Here's a high pop-up to the first base side of the mound. Gritch is coming up, and Gritch between the mound and first base makes the grab. Molinaro is a pop-up victim. Gritch does the squeezing on it, and there are 2 gone, and here's Ogilvie, the left fielder. Ogilvie bounced out Brooks DeMay in the opening inning. Now, Palmer's had one stretch of serious trouble in this game. That was last inning when he gave up consecutive singles to Horton, Meyer, and Freehand for the Tiger tally. His fastball comes blazing in, and strike 1 to Ogilvie. Ogilvie's practically on top of the plate. The 0-1, low and away on the Palmer changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 out, nobody on. Palmer staying right on top of the rubber. Now winds and deals 1-1. Breaking ball, fanned out and missed, and Ogilvie looked sick. He didn't have a good cut at all on that breaking pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wipe out the 3 hits and the run Palmer gave up last inning. He's retired everybody, making Ogilvie wait a bit. And now he deals the 1-2. Fastball brushes him back. It was right into his belt. Ball 2 and strike 2. Next pitch to Ogilvie. Breaking ball. He fouls it right off the feet of catcher Elrod Hendricks. Still 2-2. We have some fans seated around the Oriole dugout, to this side of the Oriole dugout, and maybe as many between the plate and the Tiger dugout. 2-2 to Ogilvie once again. Low, so we're full at 3-2. Horton is on deck. Here's the first game final out of Atlanta. The Braves dumped the Giants 7-6. That game won 11 innings. They've got the second game still to play. Payoff pitch. Fastball fouled down the left field side. Still 3-2. In a day game played in Chicago, it went 11 innings, and the Cubs beat the Mets 1-0. The New York starter Tom Seaver had a no-hitter in that game with 1 out to go in the 9th inning and then lost it. 3-2 again. Ogilvie swings and foul tips it, and Hendricks holds onto it for a 3rd strike. Palmer gets his 4th strikeout. And in the middle of the 3rd, Orioles 1, Tigers 1.
Frank Robinson will manage the Cleveland Indians in 1976, but his future as a player is in doubt. Robinson, the only man in baseball to win the MVP award in both leagues, signed a one-year contract to manage the club next year. He'll undergo an operation during the offseason for a shoulder injury, but he says that that'll not affect his decision to play again. If he doesn't hang up his spikes, his contract will be renegotiated. Tommy John is pitching again, and officials of the Los Angeles Dodgers are delighted with his performance. The 32-year-old lefty worked 3 innings in an Arizona Instructional League game, didn't allow a hit or a walk, struck out 3 batters. He injured his pitching elbow in July of 1974, later underwent surgery, and missed the entire 1975 season. It'll be Kurt Bevacqua of the Milwaukee Brewers against Johnny Oates of the Philadelphia Phillies in the Major League Bubblegum Blowing Championship. Bevacqua won the American League Championship with a 17.5-inch bubble, while Oates' National League winner measured 18 inches. The big blow-off, October 14th, during the World Series. Don't miss it.
All right, in the Bird third, here's Belanger, the only one who has not batted so far, and Coleman gets ahead with a strike on the outside edge. Comes back way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Belanger, then Bunbury and Blair in the bottom of the third. Orioles are in a game tied 1-1. Next one to the blade. Here's a ground foul right by third base coach Hunter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Red Sox idle tonight. They had a doubleheader scheduled, and they got rained out. Coleman comes in again. 1-2 to Belanger. Side armor, and he throws it outside. Ball 2 and strike 2. Birds have won 88. The Sox have won 93. Red Sox have dropped 63. The Orioles have dropped 66. The 2-2 to Belanger. Another side armor. He swings and fouls, tips it, and stays alive. That might have come off the Freehand's leg. Freehand now is down on both knees, and he got burned quite a bit. Freehand getting up slowly. He got whacked and bruised pretty good by that late swing foul tip. So he's just pacing a bit to the opposite batter's box. And he's going to be okay, but he just needs a few seconds to have that burning bruise wear off. All right, Freehand now getting down on that rocking chair again for Coleman's 2-2 pitch. Low and away. So we're full of 3-2. Coleman's given up a run, a hit, has walked a man and fanned a man. The break-even deal on the way. Belanger hits a high pop-up. Shortstop Verizon towards that big puddle in shallow left. In front of it, Verizon makes the grab. Belanger retired. He's the first out in the lower part of the third. And now to Bunbury. Al bounced out. Second sacker to first base. Manuel to Meyer in the opening inning. Red Sox, I'm sure, should be back home in Boston by now. And they start a 4-game series up there tomorrow night with the Indians. A ground smash is fouled down the first base side. The Red Sox have 4 games remaining, all against Frank Robinson's Indians. The Orioles are scheduled to play a doubleheader here tomorrow night, weather permitting. Then they go to New York to play 2 against the Yankees on Friday, plus single games Saturday and Sunday afternoon. The next one to Bunbury, way inside and also right past the catcher Freehand. 1 ball, 1 strike. Belanger start at the bottom of the third, skied to Verizon. Coleman kicks and comes in 1-1. Fastball fouled off the chest protector of plate umpire Shylock. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coleman's ahead and deals Bunbury. A breaking ball hit high to shallow right. Molinaro's got to make a long gallop, and he runs it down in shallow right field. He took a little chance on the soggy outfield, charging as strongly as he did. Luckily, he stayed up and didn't lose his balance, and Bunbury is out number 2.
Center fielder.
Here's center fielder Paul Blair. Looked at a third strike in the first inning. Nobody aboard in the Bird third. They got their run last inning on a walk to Baylor, a steal of second by Don, and a base knock to right by Hendricks. Sidearm snapper goes low and outside, and a ball to Blair. Inside of third base is Rodriguez on the 1-0 to Blair. Breaker, a strike, 1-1. Meyer now with that strike to Blair pushes back a little bit deeper, and he also waves in the right fielder Molinaro. Molinaro had been pretty deep in right field, and now he comes in more shallow after the urgence of Meyer at first base. Next pitch is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Coleman working to Blair with 2 out in the 3rd inning and a tie game, a run each. 2-1 to Blair. Side armor. He got jammed and he fouls it to the seats right downstairs. And we'll pause for station identification on the Orioles Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
SPN Canal Zone.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit high to right field. Molinaro has to back a couple of steps, and now he waits for the 3rd out. So at the end of 3, Baltimore 1, Detroit 1.
Taking a look at the scoreboard, a final in on the first game of a doubleheader between San Francisco and Atlanta. Those 2 teams rained out on Tuesday, so they're going for 2 on Wednesday. It took them 11 innings to decide it, Atlanta scoring twice in the bottom half of the 11th inning. 7 runs, 12 hits, and an error for Atlanta. 6 runs, 15 hits, and 1 error for San Francisco. Barr and Lavelle for San Francisco. Morton, Beard, Delcatten, Sosa for Atlanta. Lum hit his 8th home run for the Braves in the 3rd with 1 on. And Thomas hit his 6th for San Francisco in the 3rd with 2 men on. Sosa got the win. His record is 2-5. Barr, the loser, 13 and 14. That's the first of 2 at Atlanta. So that victory means that San Francisco is now 78 wins and 79 losses. The Giants right now battling to see if the ball club can finish at 500 on the season. Atlanta, meantime, drops to 66 and 92, and right now 38 games out of first place. Houston, the team last in the National League West, 40.5 games out. So that's what happens when you get down to this point of the season, trying to achieve various little things like staying above 500 or to try and move up a notch or 2 late in the standings.
Well, here's Willie Horton now, the Tiger 4th, and Big Willie with that big whip, but it's a strike for Palmer. Horton started the rally for the Tigers in the 2nd with a base hit, and he scored the Tiger run. He was knocked in by Freehan. He took one of those left field swings and tried to get his 26th home run. Willie, 25 homers, 91 runs batted in. The breaking ball, and he grounds it foul towards the Oriole dugout. 0-2. Horton, Meyer, and Freehan, who have the Tiger hits. Palmer's next one to Big Willie. Fastball, fouled on the ground, right back of the plate, still 0-2. The Tigers have lost 98 games. They've won only 57. Palmer kicks and comes in again. Fastball hit high towards deep left center. Blair is going way back with Baylor, and it is caught by Blair, I believe. It is caught by Blair. Blair went flashing through the water, and Baylor fell down, and Blair took it on that wet warning pass. We held up and made sure. We were also watching the second base umpire, Brinkman, giving a good look to Baylor, but a stronger look to Blair. Baylor came right in front of Blair, hit the water, fell down, and Blair caught it right behind him in front of the Oriole bullpen. So Horton is a long out to deep left center on the pass. And here's Meyer, the first baseman. Breaking ball is low and ball 1. Meyer left-hand sticker to the 1-0 pitch. On the inside edge for a called strike. 1-1. Well, they played the first game of an Atlanta doubleheader, the Giants and the Braves, but they have wiped out the second game. Breaking ball slowly hit down the third base side, and halfway down the line it goes out foul. One ball, 2 strikes to Meyer, with Freehan kneeling behind him. Weather permitting, we've got a bargain night doubleheader. Bargain night tomorrow night, not only because there are 2 games for the price of 1, but the chairbacks upstairs tomorrow night normally sell for $250. They will go tomorrow night for only $1.50. All right, Meyer back in the box, wigwagging the bat back and forth for the 1-2. Breaking ball, he hits high to shallow right. Singleton rushing in, still coming. He runs it down in right field. Meyer's out number 2. And here now is Freehand. Well, the fellows that gave, at least 2 of the 3 that gave Palmer difficulty in the second inning have both been retired. But Palmer did not retire Horton too easily. Blair did the great job. Here comes Freehand. Singled in Horton with a Tiger run in that second inning. Pitch to Freehand from Palmer. The breaker is low and ball 1. 2 away in the Tiger end of the 4th inning. Palmer's next pitch. Here it comes buzzing in. Swing and a miss. It really came buzzing through. 1 ball and 1 strike. Freehand, the end of the bat, measuring the front of the plate. On the 1-1 to Freehand. Checks his swing, and it becomes a check swing foul right back of the dish. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Palmer stayed ahead of Horton, got him on a deep fly. Stayed ahead of Meyer, got him on a shallow fly to right ahead of Freehand. The breaking ball is in low. Ball 2 and strike 2. Freehand kind of resetting the feet and squaring off. For the 2-2 delivery. Fastball, he hits high to deep left. Baylor is backing. Baylor is under it, waiting. Here's out number 3. In the middle of the 4th inning, Orioles 1, Tigers 1.
Again, checking the scoreboard in Major League Baseball, we already gave you the final of that first game of the doubleheader between San Francisco and Atlanta, won in extra innings by Atlanta 7-6. It took them 11 innings to get that one, as San Francisco scored in the top of the 11th, coming up with 1, but Atlanta scored 2 in the bottom of the 11th, and that was it, 7-6. In an afternoon game, Chicago over New York 1-0. That game went 11 innings, and Tom Seaver, the starter for New York, had a no-hitter with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning, but rookie Joe Wallace blooped a single into the outfield, and that broke up the no-hitter. Chicago eventually winning it in 11. A run, 4 hits, and an error for Chicago. No runs, 5 hits, and no errors for New York. Crosby got the win in relief. His record is 1-0. Lockwood, also pitching in relief for Seaver, got the loss. His record, 1 win and 3 losses. A crowd of 2,113 to see that game at Wrigley Field in Chicago.
We got a 1-1 tie going along right now to the bottom of the 4th inning. Singleton against Coleman, and right back to Bill.
All right, Chuck, and after Singleton, Lee May and Don Baylor. Late tomorrow morning, the Orioles will be announcing their most valuable player of 1975. Singleton is thrown inside. Ken, of course, one of the top candidates to be the MVP, along with Palmer, Torres, Baylor, Grich, and Lee May. The 1-0 to Singleton, and the switch-hitting outfielder takes inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Coleman got Singleton on a ground ball to second in the opening inning. Coleman's 2-0 fire to Singleton. Swing and a miss. Pretty healthy cut by Ken. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lee May after Ken, and then Don Baylor. Coleman feeding 2-1. Low. 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, you put together Singleton, May, and Baylor, you got quite a collection and total of home runs between these 3 guys. 3-1. Strike is at the knees and towards the inside part of the dish. Coleman set to unload, and he does to Singleton. Here's a ground ball to the first baseman. Meyer has it several steps back of first. Runs there and gets the unassisted out. Singleton gone on a grounder to Meyer. Meyer had no trouble coming up with it. Here comes Lee May. He went down on a fly ball to left in the second inning. Tigers got a go-ahead run in the second, and the Orioles bounced right back rapidly and tied it up. And we've had the 1-1 standoff since. May the batter with 1 away. Coleman kicks and comes in. It is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. May 20 home runs. The runner-up to Baylor. 95 RBIs, the leader in that department. The next one to May, in a breaking ball, gets the strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Coleman throws from on top and also drops down. He dropped down to get that hook in. The next one drops down again, a swing and a miss. 1-2. Now, when he drops down, he'll throw the sidearm fastball. He'll also throw the hip-high breaking pitch. 1 gone, nobody aboard. The next one to May. Sidearm changeup is outside. 2-2. Coleman starts rocking back, reaching in the glove. 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. He went with a sidearm breaking ball. He earns his second strikeout of the game. 2 gone back-to-back in the 4th inning. Coleman has now retired 6 straight since the run-scoring bingo by Hendricks in the 2nd inning. Here comes Don Baylor. Walked, stole the base, and then came romping home on Hendricks' base hit. Baylor, with his 2nd inning steal, now has 30. 2 gone. Baylor trying to get on. Fastball, a strike as it smoked at the knees. No balls and 1 strike. Gritch would follow if Baylor produced. Coleman to Baylor 0-1. Here's a broken bat ground ball wide of third, dug out by Rodriguez, and the Tigers' third baseman throws out Baylor. We have gone 4 pretty rapid innings. Orioles 1, the Tigers 1.
Took a little break to get back, just checking the wire story for this urgent story that just came in. The Associated Press has reported that the New York Nets and the Denver Nuggets of the American Basketball Association will announce on Thursday that they have made application for admission to the National Basketball Association. Further, the Associated Press reports that the NBA is interested in having the 2 clubs join the league. That action, if it happens, will set off a series of bitter court suits from other ABA owners. Sources have described to the Associated Press intricate negotiations over the past month, the 2 ABA teams and the NBA. Those talks have been aimed at bringing Denver and New York into the older league at the start of the 1976 season as expansion franchises. Now, Denver and New York are at least 2 of the 3 or 4 top teams financially in the American Basketball Association. But sources say the deal is far from complete.
Well, tomorrow night, the Orioles will play the Detroit Tigers in the Twilighter beginning at 5:30. Tomorrow night, we've got a bargain night. All of those $2.50 chair-back upper deck seats will be sold at a reduction of $1. They go for $1.50 tomorrow night. Bargain night here at Memorial Stadium. Bill?
All right, Palmer's retired 9 straight. Here he goes to Rodriguez. Hard chopper by the mound. Near second base, Belanger's up with it. His quick toss is right on target. So Palmer just needs 1 pitch to get out number 1 in the Tigers' 5th inning. Well, he played 4 innings plus 1 out in the 5th inning now in about 50 minutes. Here's Verizon. He's been one of Palmer's strikeout victims tonight. Palmer has 4 of them, including 3 in the 2nd. Here he goes to Verizon. Heat, and it's a strike. He got the Singer now on the inside corner right above the knees. Verizon, a right-hand batter. Manuel, a left-hand swinger to follow. The strike 1 thrown. Low, 1 ball and 1 strike. We had a little bit of light rainfall when the game got underway. Then it stopped for about the last 3 innings. Now light rain falling again here in the top of the 5th. So 1-1 dealt Verizon. Fastball fouled right behind the plate and into the upper deck. 1 ball and 2 strikes. What smattering of fans we have in the ballpark, most of them are confined downstairs. Maybe a few are upstairs, but not too many. Next pitch to Verizon is Palmer's 1-2. Here's a fly ball, right field towards the corner. Singleton is backing right in front of the warning pass. He makes the 2nd out. Now, Verizon hit a high outside pitch pretty deep, and Singleton was able to run it down. There are 2 away in the Tigers' 5th inning. And here's Manuel. He took a 3rd strike in the 2nd inning. Back that inning, after giving up hits to Horton, Meyer, and Freehand for the Tiger tally, Palmer got Rodriguez, Verizon, and Manuel on 3 strikeouts. He's high and outside, and ball 1 to Manuel. Manuel bends over quite a bit, both from the waist and also from the knees. Hits the ground ball right back to Palmer in front of the mound. Palmer with a good inning throws out Manuel. In the middle of the 5th, Orioles 1, Tigers 1.
More about that story. Again, to repeat, the Associated Press reports that the New York Nets and the Denver Nuggets of the American Basketball Association will announce on Thursday that they have made application for admission to the rival National Basketball Association. The action, due to be announced at a news conference in Denver and in New York federal court, began about a month ago. The Associated Press learned that Denver owner Carl Scheer and Nets owner Roy Bowe invited the ABA champion Kentucky Colonels to join them in the discussions with the NBA. John Brown, the president of the ABA and husband of the Colonels owner, confirms that he was approached. He said he declined the offer because we have responsibility to the American Association. Says Brown, there's no way they could be taken into the NBA. They have a legally binding contract with the American Association. If they were to be successful in joining the NBA, there would be suits. No doubt about that.
Second baseman, Bobby Gritch. All right, let's get going in the bottom of the fifth inning with Bobby Gritch, and let's get going also with Chuck Thompson.
Well, it'll be Bob Gritch, fly to left in the second inning. It's a 1-1 tie, bottom of the fifth, and it's beginning to rain again. Coleman throws outside to Gritch, ball one. Gritch, Hendricks, and Brooks Robinson, the new batter, to the Detroit right-hander. By rain, I mean that light rain that we have had in and off. Here's a strike called now to Gritch, on and off the greater part of the day, and then at some time, of course, it will get a good deal stronger than light rain. As a matter of fact, we had some very severe downpours in Baltimore today. The 1-1 to Gritch, breaking stuff, low and away, 2 balls from the strike. At the moment, there is no danger, but, the weather's been just so borderline and up and down, in and out, and dismal and gloomy all day long that you kind of, put on your pessimistic coat and leave it there. Here's a swing and a ground ball, base hit. On through into left field, hits the funnel out there and dies. Gritch opens the Oriole half of the fifth with a single in left field. Gritch is single to start the Orioles in the fifth inning, and here is Elrod Hendricks. And when you start talking about fellows who have, shown some late foot, when you talk about fellows who have jumped into the gap and helped their club when they most needed to be helped, always refer to Elrod Hendricks as one of those fellows. And his teammates rejoice in the fact that he has been able to do the things he has done here of late with that bat. He singled tonight to knock in the tying run. It's a 1-1 tie on the bottom of the fifth inning. Gritch is the runner at first. The Coleman pitch to Hendricks. He bunts and misses. Strike one. Rodriguez third, Verizon short. A newcomer at second base for the Detroit Tigers tonight, Jerry Manuel, and Dan Meyer is playing first. Coleman now ready with a one-strike pitch to Hendricks. Is the bunt on or off? It's on. Taken outside for a ball. Hendricks was squaring on the pitch, moving to the front of the box, and ran the hands up the bat, and then just pulled it out of the way and took the ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. I'll tell you one thing, the fans of this ballpark tonight deserve a few plaudits. Boy, they have really put up with a mess of rotten weather. Pitch to him. Swing. Toward the alley, left center field. Gritch is around second, on his way to third. Gritch is going to make third base without any trouble as that ball just died. And here's Gritch trying to come home. The ball away from the second baseman. Throw to the plate, he is safe. And into second base goes Hendricks. Bobby Gritch took advantage of an opportunity to gamble, and it worked. The ball was thrown in from the outfield towards second base. It was very wet and very sloppy. It caromed away from second baseman Manuel. Gritch saw it bounce away 5 or 6 feet. He just kept right on coming toward the plate, and Manuel, in his haste to throw to the plate and get a play on Bob Gritch, threw it away. He threw it 10 or 15 feet up the third base side and all the way back to the screen. So Hendricks singles to left center, sending Gritch to third, and Gritch will score on a throwing error charge to Jerry Manuel, and the Orioles lead 2-1 on the rookie Tiger second baseman's throwing error. And now Brooks Robinson with Hendricks at second base and nobody out. Breaking stuff, and a strike is called. Some of you may remember another Tiger second baseman with another error in a series against the Red Sox here of late. 1 strike to count. And the pitch to Brooks. Here's a ground ball hit right at the second baseman Manuel. He's got it. Hendricks takes third as Brooks Robinson, in a very obvious effort to hit the ball to the first base side, is grounded to the second baseman, Jerry Manuel. Well, the errors will, always be a part of the game of baseball. There are some that you will remember more often than others. And they're a part of the breaks of the game of baseball, and I think to a man, anybody who has spent any time around the game, either playing it or watching it, will realize full well that For the most part, in the course of the year, they're going to even up, although some of them are going to stick out like sore thumbs. For the most part, they come out dead even at the end of the season. Mark Belanger, the batter, 1 out. It's a 2-1 Oriole ball game, leading the Detroit Tigers in the bottom of the 5th inning. A very light rain is falling. Belanger facing Joe Coleman. The Tiger infield now is up to within a step of the grass all of the way around. And the runner at third is Elrod Hendricks. Coleman's pitch to Belanger. He bunts, and it's going to be foul. They have the squeeze on, and with manager Weaver, there's no such thing as a safety squeeze. There's just the squeeze. And Hendricks was barreling down the line, and Belanger bunted foul. For those of you who are perhaps just discovering us on your radio dial, wherever you might be, around the eastern seaboard up through the New England states, this ball game didn't start tonight until 10 minutes of 9. The weather in Baltimore has been just about as bad as it's been anywhere else up and down the eastern seaboard. Pitch to Belanger is a bit outside, so the count now is 1 ball and 1 strike. Nestor Shylock, the crew chief. We were going to play a doubleheader beginning at 5:30. Well, that went by the boards. It was raining like heck at 5:30. We finally got this one started at 10 of 9, and we're going to play a single game tonight. The 1-1 offering to Belanger, 1 out. Hendricks, the runner at third base. Coleman now just breaks contact with the rubber, as Hendricks made a couple of, false starts down the line from third, as if perhaps he and Belanger again had the squeeze going. Coleman throws, Belanger swings, ground ball off the third base side. It's going to be taken by a backhanded stop by the shortstop, and then he can do nothing about it. The riser got to the ground ball, going hard to his right with a backhanded grab, and then as he tried to break to set up and make some sort of a throw, he just slipped and fell down. It'll be an infield scratch hit for Belanger, and the Orioles have runners at first and third. Nothing that Hendricks could do about that play, but just stand there and watch it. So with runners at first and third, and still 1 out, the batter now is leadoff hitter Al Bumbry. The Orioles' designated batter has grounded to the second base and has flied to the right fielder in 2 previous at-bats against Detroit's Joe Coleman. Coleman tonight is making his 31st start of the year. He's only completed 6 ball games. Coleman, the first offering to left-hand hitting Bumbry. It's a little inside and low, ball 1. Well, the inning started with a Bobby Grich single to left field, and then Hendricks followed with a single toward the alley in left center field. Grich raced around to third. The throw coming in from the outfield, the second baseman Manuel bounced out of his glove. Grich took off for the plate, and Manuel threw the ball away, trying to make a play on Grich. Ball 2 is inside to Bumbry. That allowed Grich to score the go-ahead run. Hendricks then took second. On an infield bounce out, Hendricks took third. And then Belanger on the infield scratch hit to short, and the Orioles have runners first and third with 1 out. 2 balls, no strikes to Bumbry. Coleman there with a long, intent look to Freehand is ready now. The 2-0 pitch to Bumbry. It's inside, ball 3. Everything he's thrown, Bumbry has been right in on his numbers around the letters. Light rain still falling. I wouldn't hazard a guess as to how many people in the ballpark, but there are very, very few. I'll tell you, they are really dyed-on-the-wool fans. 3-0 to Bumbry. Swinging a foul out of play, and in this spot, I imagine most of you were probably guessing that they'd probably green light Bumbry, and they did. He fouled it away. 3 balls and a strike. Hendricks at third, Belanger at first, and the infield is up. The 3-1 pitch on the way to Bumbry. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. The runner going to second. The throw to second base is not in time. Belanger is in with a steal. That's his 17th stolen base of the year. And the count now 3 balls, 2 strikes to Bumbry as he took a cut and missed the breaking stuff from Joe Coleman. Runners second and third, and now the first base side of the infield is about a step off the infield grass, and so is everybody else. They're still up all the way. Well, I guess they could be in a little bit more shallow, but they're a step off the grass. 3-2 to Bumbry. Coleman ready. And the big Tiger right-hander has the sign, flashed by Freehand, and here comes the payoff, 3-2 to the waiting Al Bumbry. Coleman throws, Bumbry takes, a ball 4, and Coleman is a little angry over that call. He thought it was a pretty good pitch. Bumbry couldn't pull the trigger on a fastball that was apparently a little inside in the opinion of the plate umpire, but a heck of a strike from, in the opinion of the pitcher, Joe Coleman. And that, too, has occurred before. For Coleman, that'll be his second walk. The first one went to Baylor back in the second inning, and it cost him a run. 1 out of the inning. The bases are loaded, and here now is Blair. And we're going to get some activity out of that Tiger bullpen. Laren LeGros, big husky right-hander, beginning to limber. Coleman now makes contact with the rubber to grab the sign from Freehand. Bases loaded, 1 out. Blair, the batter, is called out on strikes and slide to the right fielder. Coleman pitched to Blair. Strike at the knees. Now the one-strike offering to the Orioles center fielder Blair, and what a catch this young man has contributed to the ball game. The pitch is low, ball 1 ball to 1 strike. On the drive that Willie Horton hit toward the Oriole bullpen area in left center field, Blair made truly a spectacular running backhanded catch. He now waits the 1-1 offering from Coleman with the bases loaded and 1 out. Here's a line drive down the left field side. It's in for the base hit. Hendricks will score. Right behind him comes Belanger. Bunbury is headed for third. Into second base goes Blair. The throw is not in time. Blair has doubled home 2 more Oriole runs. It is now a 4-1 ball game. Hendricks scores number 3. Belanger scores number 4. For Paul Blair, that'll be his 12th double of the year, and he has now knocked in 30 runs on the season. Blair, like Elrod Hendricks, showing a little bit of that stuff that you sometimes refer to as late foot. Well, there are not too many people in our ballpark, but I'm sure you can hear them. They are really hardy baseball fans and enthusiastic rooters, hoping against hope that the Orioles can in some way overtake the seemingly untakeable Boston Red Sox. Well, Singleton, the batter, is 0 for 2 tonight. Is grounded to second, has gone out unassisted to the first baseman. The Tiger infield is still uptight. Runners second and third and 1 out. Laren LeGros, a big right-hander, throwing in the Tiger pen. And now the indication is to put Singleton aboard. So here is walk number 3, currently being issued by Coleman to Singleton. And that will bring in the percentage of the right-handed bat of Lee May, plus the opportunity to start the double play anywhere you want to go with it. Ball 3 outside now to Singleton. And we're going to get ball 4 momentarily. What a fine year Ken Singleton has had for these Orioles. Leads the club with a 3.02 average. He leads the club with 88 runs, 174 hits, 36 doubles, 114 walks. That's the club record. Blair, who just knocked in 2 runs, has hit the ball at a 3.24 clip in his last 10 games. The Red Sox and the Yankees, as most of you know, I am sure, were rained out of Shea Stadium a long, long time ago. The Sox are back in Boston now, getting ready to take on Cleveland tomorrow and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Lee May. Here's a looping fly ball to shallow right field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Bunbury is home. Here comes Blair. He's going to score. Singleton is on his way to third, and the Orioles pile it up a little bit more now with 2 more runs coming in. Bunbury scores. Run number 5. Blair, run number 6. Singleton stops at third. Lee May has singled into right field to knock in 2 more. So the Orioles just, kind of rip it wide open here in this 5th inning. Momentarily, they're on top by a count of 6-1. And we see Ralph Houk with a very slow move toward the mound. I'll tell you, these, I think, are very tough days for ball clubs like the Tigers, who just, they're out of it. They're not going anywhere. And this has been just a terrible year for Joe Coleman. And I think anybody who knows even a little bit about baseball would have to consider this to be very definitely an unfortunate and off year for Coleman. He's a heck of a lot better than a 10 and 17 pitcher. But then again, it has been that kind of a year for the Detroit Tigers, who coming in tonight are way down on the bottom of the Eastern Division of the American League. They've won 57 and lost 98, and they're 35 and a half games out of it. It's just been a completely horrendous, terrible year for the Tiger Baseball Club and their followers. And now Coleman is going to be lifted by manager Ralph Houk, and it looks as though we're going to get Laren LeGros from the bullpen. So as the new pitcher makes his way to the mound, let's pause for a moment.
Okay, so a pitching change coming up now for the Detroit Tigers. As you heard Chuck Thompson mention, the Tigers buried in last place in the American League East, 35 and a half games behind the front-running Boston Red Sox. Boston rained out again at New York. So as a result, those 2 teams, the Yankees and the Orioles, will have to make up one of those games later on in the season, or perhaps at the end of the season. That's the situation as far as those 2 teams. Although the Yankees are idle Thursday, the Red Sox will be at home to Cleveland, eliminating the possibility of completing the series then. No determination has been made as yet by the American League on when the two games between Boston and New York will be made up, if at all. The Red Sox held a 4-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles in the American League East, and if the games become critical, Boston and the Yankees could meet next Monday, the day after the regular season ends.
Well, there's a new Tiger pitcher. He, like Coleman, is a right-hander, Laren LeGros. Coleman gave up only one hit until here in the 5th inning. And here in the 5th inning now, he's given up 5 more and also 5 more runs. The runs have been scored by Gridge, Hendricks, Belanger, and Bumbry and Blair. So it's a 6-1 ball game as Coleman departs. He's given up 6 runs, 6 base hits. He's walked 3, 1 intentional here in the 5th inning, and that was Singleton. And he has also fanned 2. He gives over the game with Don Baylor coming up. He'll be the 9th batter to swing here in the 5th inning. LeGros comes on the scene with runners at first and third with 5 runs over in the 5th inning and a 6-1 ball game and the Orioles leading. Before we tell you more about LeGros this year, let's pause for station identification on the Orioles Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
This is American Forces Radio at 790 and 1420.
SCN,
For the new Tiger pitcher, Laren LeGros, this is his 32nd pitching appearance of the year. He started 26 times, so this is his 6th relief effort. LeGros has 7 victories, 14 defeats, and a very high ERA of 4.3 runs a game. Again, to repeat, the Red Sox got rained out tonight. They were scheduled for a doubleheader at New York, and they got rained out.
Well, let's take a look now at the 9th Oriole batter to face Detroit pitching in the bottom of the 5th inning, and that would be Don Baylor. He walked in the 2nd, stole a base, and scored the Orioles' first run in the 4th inning. Coleman handled him on a bouncer to the third baseman, Rodriguez. Runners 1st and 3rd and 1 out, and LeGros pitched to Baylor. It's a strike call. He got the breaking ball in. Singleton, the runner at 3rd. Lee May, whose right field single just produced 2 more Oriole runs, is at first base. And Laren LeGros pitching in relief of Joe Coleman. The Tiger right-hander's 1 strike offering to Baylor. Here's a high fly ball to shallow right. Coming up on the ball is right fielder Malinaro. Flashing through the puddles. Malinaro stays with it and makes the catch and then cuts loose a throw toward the plate as the runners hold. So Baylor is gone on a towering fly in a very shallow right field caught by Bob Malinaro. And he just came splashing across very uncomfortable puddles. Well, some time ago, Bob Gritch opened this inning with a line single into left field, and he now is batting against the Tigers in the bottom of the 5th inning for the 2nd time. He started it and scored the 2nd run, and here he is now with 2 out and runners at 1st and 3rd. And LeGros is still back there trying to get some of the clay out of the spikes and the infield grass behind the mound. Talk about a big Tiger right-hander, and LeGros is every bit of that. He is 6 feet 5 inches, about 220 pounds. Scoop Reader said he's a biggie. A strike is called to Bob Gritch. Right, Scoop. I think the rain's getting to you, Scoop. 1 strike to count to the batter, Bob Gritch. LeGros ready to work. And the right-hander's next offering is low for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Orioles tonight will officially pass the 1 million mark in attendance. Think of a lot of different ways you'd like to do that. All of them are good, don't misunderstand me, but the 1-1 pitch to Bob. Check swing ground ball, first base side of the mound. LeGros, the pitcher, is there. The flip to the first baseman for the final out of the inning. Well, the Orioles have a fine bottom of the 5th, and now at the end of 5, Baltimore 6, Detroit 1.
Here's top news in brief from American Contemporary Radio. I'm Rick James. 2 knife-wielding inmates have surrendered to authorities in Michigan City, Indiana, after holding 3 hostages for 5 hours at the Indiana State Prison Hospital building. State Corrections Commissioner Robert Heine theorized about the assault on the medical facility.
One of the inmates involved did have a history of narcotics, and there's some possibility that the reason for this was to acquire some drugs. However, we do not have definite information on that at this time, but I think they did get some drugs while they were in the hospital.
Robert Heine. 3 psychiatrists have been named by a federal judge in San Francisco to conduct tests on Patty Hearst. Former President Richard Nixon has been unanimously invited to testify by senators on the Select Committee Probing Intelligence. Committee Chairman Frank Church would not speculate about a possible subpoena should the former president president declined the invitation. And that's ABC News in brief. Rick James reporting for American Contemporary Radio.
For the sixth inning, and Palmer fires a strike call to Ron LaFleur as we go to the top of the sixth. And the one-strike offering is the Palmer curve missing outside for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Palmer has retired 12 in a row since he had a little trouble in the second inning. 3 consecutive Tiger bases resulted in a run in the second inning. Then Palmer cranked it up and struck out Rodriguez for Reiser and Manuel to end the inning. Popped the fastball knee-high in the strike call to LaFleur, a ball and 2 strikes. And with those 3 strikeouts, Palmer started the string that is currently now mounted to 12. Jim rocks and throws. The 1-2 to LaFleur is an overhand curveball, but it didn't find the strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Speed merchant LaFleur with a .260 batting average. Palmer readies now, and here's his 2-2 offering to Ron. A swing and a ground ball right back to Palmer. He's got, with a throw to May, we've got 1 gone. Now Bob Malinaro, who is a rookie route fielder who has faced Palmer twice tonight, popped to short and popped to second baseman. He's only been in 3 ball games and hitting .429. Left-hander, and he seems kind of a very nervous sort of a hitter, and he spends a little time digging in before facing Palmer. Palmer's pitch to Malinaro, swinging a ground ball to the right side of Belanger, is on through into left field for a base knock. So Palmer's string now will stop at 13 on the 1-out single to left field by Malinaro. Malinaro, out of Newark, New Jersey, now makes his home in West Orange. He has come up through the system from Rocky Mount to Montgomery to Toledo to Evansville, and he was .287 in Evansville this year, finishing out there. Now has singled for the Tigers' 4th hit, and here is Ben Ogilvie, who has grounded to third and struck out. 4.626. 2,157. And the Orioles are over the million mark. Ground ball grabbed by Palmer. He's got throw to the shortstop. That's 1. Now to first, and they get a 1-6-3 double play. Palmer to Belanger to the first baseman May to end the Tigers' 6. At the end of 5 1/2, Orioles 6, Tigers 1.
Green Bay coach Bart Starr said that Chester Marcole's injured leg is responding to treatment, but he doesn't expect the star place kicker to be available until the Pack returns home October 5th. Marcole strained a leg muscle on a kickoff in Sunday's loss to Detroit, and Starr plans to use defensive end Dave Preforty as the kicker in Monday night's nationally televised game against Denver. Starr also said he would take a wait-and-see attitude on whether middle linebacker Jim Carter would play Monday night. Carter also was hurt in Sunday's game, re-injuring a leg he broke in an inter-squad game in July. Veteran guard Ed Budd was placed on the injured reserve list by the Kansas City Chiefs following knee surgery. Budd has been a starter since he joined the team as the Chiefs' #1 draft choice in 1963. He injured his right knee in the Chiefs' loss at Denver Sunday, and doctors said will require 6 weeks for recuperation. The Chiefs acquired Roger Bernhardt, an offensive guard who was recently waived by the Jets to fill Budd's spot. Okay, let's get back to the action now at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore.
Here's the latest on the National League scoreboard tonight. The Phillies have quite a lead, 8-1 over the Eastern Division champion Pirates. Phillies 8, Pirates 1. They're playing the 9th inning at Pittsburgh. At Montreal, they're in the 7th inning. The Expos 6, the Cardinals 1. At Houston in the 6th inning, the Astros and the Reds are tied 3-3. The Los Angeles-San Diego game will be starting shortly. In the first game of the doubleheader, Atlanta 7, the Giants 6. They went 11 innings and played that one. Then they rained out the second game in Atlanta. This afternoon, in 11 innings, the Cubs beat the Mets 1-0. All right, Bill, here's a fastball up and away to Elrod Hendricks, leading off for the Orioles in the bottom of the 6th inning. The applause you hear greets the announcing of the Orioles attendance and breaking that 1 million mark.
Strike is called to Elrod with 4,626 in the ballpark. The Orioles top the million mark with 1,02,157. And a doubleheader coming tomorrow night. High with the next pitch comes LeGros. The count to Elrod is 2 balls and a strike. Elrod is 2 for 2 tonight. And the 2-1 offering, LeGros fires, breaking stuff, and he's got a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Orioles tomorrow night, weather permitting, and for goodness sakes, we hope we can do it. We'll play a doubleheader against the Tigers beginning at 5:30. The pitch to Hendricks. High for a ball, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And the Red Sox will be back in the confines and the very comfortable surroundings of Fenway Park to battle a team that's given them more than their share of trouble this year, the Cleveland Indians. The Red Sox and the Indians have met 14 times this year, and the Indians have won 9. 3-2 pitch. High fly ball, center field way. LaFleur is moving over through the very heavy footing of the outfield and stays with it to make the catch. 1 gone in the last half of the 6th. Now Brooks Robinson. He's grounded to second twice tonight. Welcome, Chrisfield High School. They're here tonight. I'll tell you, they're an enthusiastic bunch of young people sitting down under cover in the lower deck. It's a shame. That's the thing that really hurts more as much as anything. That's the inconvenience and the discomfort of the fans. Pitch to Brooks is a line drive towards center field. It drops for the base hit. Brooks Robinson is on with him. Base knock. That's hit number 7 for the Orioles tonight. And that's the first one against Laren LeGros. Mark Belanger popped to short, singled to short, and scored a run. Just a miserable night weather-wise, but the Orioles are doing what they have to do. They have just got to keep right on winning and hope they get, the fellow said, a little help from your friends. The lead is first by Brooks with 1 out, and the LeGros pitch to Belanger. Here's a high pop-up, third base side foul ground. Freehan, the catcher, getting under it. Freehan stays with it and makes the catch for the second down. 2 gone in the Orioles' 6th inning. Baltimore 6, Detroit 1. Top of the batting order, here comes Al Bunbury. In the first inning, he grounded to second, and he flied to right. But in the 5th inning, when the Orioles batted around and scored 5 runs, this little guy got a very important base on balls. It loaded the bases, and eventually Al was around to score run number 5. Light rain has been falling for the last couple of innings. It doesn't appear to be raining hard enough to affect the ball game even a little bit. All that damage has been done in the outfield grass. Pitch. High, ball 1. I'm sure that the steps will be taken, but it seems to me this year, more than other years, with the horrendous rainfalls that we have had, that people are now becoming aware of the fact that this field does need some work. A ball is outside. I think particularly in the terms of the field that these Detroit Tigers play on. It is an old field, but it probably drains as well as any field in baseball. And that's the big problem here in Memorial Stadium. This field does not drain well at all. If in truth it drains. Here's a ball outside now, 3-0 to Bunbury. And it just needs a lot of help in that direction. You take a look in the areas in left field and right field. Boy, I'll tell you, it's more than a little bit obvious that the field doesn't drain at all. The 3-0 pitch to Bunbury is a ball 4. LeGros has given up a base on balls. Down to second base goes Brooks Robinson. And to the plate will come Paul Blair. Called out on strikes in the first inning, fly to right field in the 3rd. And then when they kind of enriched the pot a little bit with the bases loaded in the 5th inning, Blair promptly doubled down the line in the left field corner to knock in 2 runs. I mentioned, in case you missed it, Blair in his last 10 ball games has hit .324, and tonight he's 1 for 3 with a pair of runs batted in. 6-1 Baltimore over Detroit. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. The pitch to Blair, line drive base hit into left field. Here comes Brooks around third. He's going to try to score. The throw is coming to third base, and Brooks is over standing up. And the Orioles now have a 7-1 lead. Blair now has knocked in 3 runs tonight, and is 2 for 4. Runners at first and second base, and the batter, Ken Singleton, grounded to second, went out unassisted to the first baseman, and then drew a walk. That was walk number 115 this year for Singleton. I'm sure a lot of baseball fans can point with pride to various trades that the Orioles have made over the last few years. And, immediately jumps to mind, the great trade they made for Frank Robinson. Pitch coming down to Ken Singleton. Here's a line foul to the seats down the third base side. But when you start talking about the good trades that this Oriole club has made, and my golly, they have made their share of them, The trade that they made with Montreal to get Singleton and Torres has got to be somewhere right up there in that upper bracket. 1 strike to count to Singleton. LeGros throws. He's inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gene Pence, the right-hander, throwing in the Tiger bullpen. Coleman started, went the first 4 1/3. Joe was charged with the six of the 7 Oriole runs that are on the board. Now the 1-1 pitch, LeGros to Singleton. Here's a line drive, base hit down the left field side. Bunbury is going to score. Blair is sailing around, headed to third base, and they said, hold it, Paul, as Singleton is doubled down the left field side. He knocks in Bunbury with run number 8. Blair has to stop at third. I thought for a moment that Billy Hunter might say, come on, take a shot at it. And he decided he'd better not send him in this situation. 2 outs. Singleton now with his 37th double of the year. And for Singleton, that'll be 55 runs batted in. And for the Orioles now, an 8-1 lead. Singleton is credited with a double. Runners at second and third, 2 out. And now the batter is going to be Lee May. Lee will fly to left in the second and struck out on the 4th. But in a situation with men on base in the 5th inning, he drilled a single into right field to knock in 2 runs. Now the 8-1, the pitch coming down to May is swung on a foul ball that's off the leg of plate umpire Nestor Shilak, and he's having all he can do to just stand up right now, walking around, trying to shake off the sting of that foul ball on the leg of Nestor Shilak. One strike to count to Lee May. Well, the Orioles, with their backs to the wall, and the chances of overtaking the Red Sox are certainly not great, not good. But the fact remains that the chance is still there, and that's all that the Orioles can ask. The 1-strike pitch coming to May. Fastball drives him off the plate, a ball and a strike. And in truth, the Orioles' chase after the Boston Red Sox has been some of the finest baseball the club has played for some time. The Orioles have now won 14 of their last 17. They have won 4 in a row. Since the All-Star break, they've been great. 47-22. Here's a foul ball right up over our head. And out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Orioles that took 3 in a row from the Brewers over the weekend, the last time that they played, and now have a record of 51-32 against Eastern Division clubs. And against this Tiger Ball club, they've been scintillating. They won 11 and lost 4. Have taken 10 of the last 11, including 6 in a row. Here's a foul ball out of play. A ball and 2 strikes to Lee May. Well, the Orioles go over the million mark. And I tell you, it wasn't easy. I'm trying to remember. I'm right off the top of my head, and you know how bad that is. I think there are 7 rainouts this year. Pitch is inside now to Lee May at home. And Bill and I were talking a little earlier tonight, and I guess one of the more costly rainouts had to be around the Labor Day weekend. It really, really hurt. Now the 2-2 pitch coming to Lee May. LeGros throws. He struck him out. Swinging him. Hold on. No, it's a foul ball. Indicated by Shilak. So Lee May is still alive. Whereas the Orioles have been playing, just great baseball. The Tigers are coming off a 2-7 homestand, where the Orioles swept them with 3. Pitch coming to Lee. Here's a high pop foul. It looks like it's out of play to the first base side, and it is. The Indians went in and won 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers, and of course the Red Sox did the same thing. They won 2 out of 3. This is the final road trip of the year for Detroit, of course, and after the 3 games here, weather permitting, we can get them in. They will go to a 3-game weekend set in Milwaukee. The Orioles go to a 4-game weekend set in New York, and the Red Sox are home ready to start tomorrow, a 4-game series against Cleveland. The 2-2 pitch to Lee May. Outside. 3-2. This was to have started a long time ago, about 5:30. At the twilight doubleheader. No way. Well, they held on and hung on, and finally the weather broke enough to let us get this one started at about 10 minutes of 9 tonight. No effort will be made to play a doubleheader. That comes up tomorrow night. 3-2 pitch to May. Fly ball, well hit left field. Here comes Ogilvie going to his left, and he's there to make a running catch to retire May. At the end of 6 in Baltimore, the Orioles 8 and the Tigers 1.
The Associated Press has reported that the New York Nets and Denver Nuggets of the American Basketball Association will announce Thursday that they have made application for admission to the rival National Basketball Association. Further, the AP reports the NBA is interested in having the two clubs join the league. That action, if it happens, will set off quite a series of bitter court suits from other ABA owners. Sources have described to the Associated Press intricate negotiations over the past month between the two ABA teams and the NBA. Those talks have been aimed at bringing Denver and New York into the older league at the start of the 1976 season as expansion franchises. The sources say the deal is far from complete, but they say both sides are serious. The NBA has taken no formal action on the applications, but there has been serious discussions over the fees the two clubs would pay to enter the league. The action, due to be announced at a news conference in Denver and in a New York federal court, began about a month ago. The AP learned that Denver owner Carl Scheer and Nets owner Roy Bull invited the ABA champion Kentucky Colonels to join them in their discussions with the National Basketball Association.
Well, here's a final just in from Cleveland. Milwaukee with 5 runs in the 9th inning, and also 5 runs earlier. Milwaukee knocked over the Indians tonight 10-3. Milwaukee had 12 hits, won the game 10-3. Colburn the winner, Peterson the loser. George Scott of the Brewers had his 34th home run of the year. In the 7th inning tonight at Kansas City, the Royals lead Minnesota 2-0. A doubleheader scheduled at New York tonight got rained out, the Red Sox and the Yankees. A little bit later tonight, it'll be the White Sox and the A's in Oakland. Vida Blue, the good left-hander for the A's, will be looking for his 21st win. Okay, Chuck.
Well, we're ready to go now to the Tigers' 7th inning. It'll be Willie Horton against Jim Palmer. And Palmer's pitch to Horton, a check swing ground ball right back to the mound. Palmer's there, a throw to first, and he's gotten Horton about as easily as you're ever going to get that big guy. Horton tried to stop the swing, didn't get the bat out of the way, and it bounced back to the mound, and Palmer threw him out. One gone, top of the 7th, and now we get Dan Meyer. Meyer singled to center in the 2nd inning, fly to the right fielder in the 4th inning. The Orioles 8 runs, 9 hits and no errors. The Tigers a run, 4 hits and an error. Palmer is low with the ball 1 to the left-handed bat of Meyer. And right back, swinging a ground ball at the second baseman, Gritch. He's got it with a throw to May. That's an easy second out. 2 down here in the 7th. Bill Freehand singled in the 2nd inning. He knocked in the lone Tiger Talley that's on the board at the moment. And in the 4th inning, Freehand was gone on a fly ball to left fielder Baylor. Defensively, the play in the ball game belongs to Paul Blair for what a catch he made, a shot hit by Willie Horton back in the 4th inning. Pitch to Freehand, right down the pipe, and the strike is called. Of course, the Tigers, having such a dismal, terrible year, also suffered through a 19-game losing streak. And other things they lost this year, one of the best relievers in all of baseball, John Hiller. Sidearm curves outside to Freehand, a ball, a strike. Now the 1-1 pitch. Curve, ground ball, sharply hit, took a bad hop and bounced off the glove of Brooks and rolls out into the puddle in left field. Freehand almost fell down as he approached first base. He's all right. Trzeski goes over there to... The ball kind of took a hop off the edge of the infield grass, and Brooks put the glove up, and just carried off the glove and went on through into left field. The official scorer rules base hit. I believe that's the way it should be called. A 2-out single by Freehand brings in Aurelio Rodriguez. The Oriole bullpen is still. It is hoped that Palmer will go again Sunday afternoon at Shea Stadium against the Yankees. Palmer right now making his 37th start of the year, gunning for victory number 22. The pitch to Rodriguez, smoking fastball outside, ball 1. 2 out, top of the 7th. Rodriguez waiting the Palmer pitch. Jim throws a high foul back toward the seats on the first base side. It's going to be in among them and out of play. So we have a ball to strike to Rodriguez. Doubleheader tomorrow night if the weather allows, and heck, we got a pretty good break here tonight. It's, just stopped raining. It's drizzled a little bit now. It's not even doing that. So maybe the front has moved through. Palmer throws high fly ball right field. Here comes Singleton coming hard through that mess. Back goes second baseman Gritch. And it's Gritch, the second baseman, for the catch for the final out at the end of 6.5. Baltimore 8, Detroit 1.
Southern California's Ricky Bell romped for 215 more yards last week against Oregon State and increased his national rushing lead, according to the NCAA Statistics Service. Bell, who played linebacker at USC as a freshman, now has 471 yards after 2 games, and only Ed Marinaro of Cornell has outdistanced that figure in the first 2 games. Marinaro rolled up 506 yards in his first 2 games in 1971. Bell, who also leads the nation in scoring with 38 points, is averaging 235.5 per game rushing. That's nearly 75 more than runner-up Jeff Blank of BYU. Stanford's Mike Cordova leads the nation in passing and total offense. He's completed 41 of 82 passes for 496 yards in 2 games. Running and passing, he has 492 yards. Tony Hill of Stanford is the national receiving leader, averaging 7 catches a game so far. He has 14 receptions for 209 yards. That's an average of just under 15 yards per catch. In New Orleans, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals will decide whether it will grant a rehearing to attorneys for Alabama coach Paul Bear Bryant in a fight over how many football players a collegiate team may take on road trips. The NCAA limit of 48 players for road trips, imposed as an economic move, is currently in force. An Alabama district judge last month granted a temporary injunction at the request of Bryant's attorneys, an action which boosted the road trip limit to 60. Bryant said it was unfair for a team to go on the road with only 48 players and have to face a club that has allowed to suit up 60 players at home. The Alabama ruling, however, was overturned by the 5th Circuit. Bryant's attorneys have asked the 5th Circuit to reconsider its decision.
Here's a fly ball, pretty well hit towards center fielder Ron LaFleur, as Baylor on one pitch has been retired. 1 out of the bottom of the 7th inning, and we wish Joe Mullaney and the Baltimore Claws the very best of everything here in Baltimore. Here now will be Bobby Gritch, along with Joe Mullaney. We also want to wish a good friend of ours the very best of everything in his new endeavor with the Baltimore Claws, and that would be promotional director Walter Bud Freeman. Now Gritch, the pitch to Bob is down low for a ball. We'll have a station break for you momentarily. Now the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball, third base side. Rodriguez put the glove down and the ball didn't come up. It's by him out into left field. Gritch goes loping into second base with a double. And for Bob Gritch, that'll be number 25 on the 2-base hit column. And on that, we'll pause briefly for a station break. This is the Baltimore Oriole Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
This is the Southern Command Radio Network, an affiliate of the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
With 1 out, a runner halfway around, here's Elrod Hendricks on a 2-for-3 night. Beat a single in the right field in the 2nd inning, and he singled toward the alley in left center in the 5th inning. He has scored a run. He has knocked in a run. Laren LeGros on the mound in relief of starter Joe Coleman, who went the first 4 and a third innings tonight. LeGros deals a fastball hit high in the air towards center fielder LaFleur. Setting up under it now, the Tiger center fielder makes the catch for the 2nd out. 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. 8-1 the Orioles. 8 runs, 10 hits, no errors. A run on 5 hits plus a Detroit error. Brooks Robinson, a 1-for-3 night. Third baseman, Brooks Robinson. The Orioles with 4,626 paid tonight in Baltimore. They're not all in the ballpark, don't misunderstand. Now go over the million mark for the 9th time in the years that this team has operated as an American League franchise in Baltimore. Pitch is low for a ball. First year being 1954. The 1-0 pitch to Brooks. Gritch, the runner at 2nd and 2 down. LeGros out of the stretch. The 6'5" right-hander throws. He's high, ball 2, 2-0. And the 2-0 pitch on the way to Brooks. Breaking ball hit deep towards center. LaFleur is racing back, still back, leaps and makes the catch. LaFleur almost had a line drive carry over the glove in deep center. That's the final out at the end of 7. The Orioles 8 and the Tigers 1.
Kerry Lavelle issued a 2-out bases-loaded walk to Davy May, forcing home Dusty Baker with a winning run in the bottom of the 11th inning and giving the Atlanta Braves a 7-6 victory over San Francisco. The Braves trailed by 1 run entering the inning when pinch hitter Biff Polkaruba was safe at second base after center fielder Gary Thomason dropped his line drive. Polkaruba scored the tying run on Baker's 2-out single. Marty Perez singled, bringing in Lavelle in relief of starter and loser Jim Barr, and Darrell Evans walked to load the bases. May walked in a 3-2 pitch to force in the winning run. Elias Sosa pitched a third of an inning for the win. Gary Matthews singled in the 11th inning, his 5th hit of the game, enabling the Giants to take a 6-5 lead into the bottom of the inning. Gary Thomason and Bobby Mercer walked, and Matthews hit a single between first and second to score Thomason with 1 out. Darrell Thomas drove in San Francisco's first 4 runs, smacking a 3-run homer in the 3rd and a run-scoring single in the 4th.
Well, the official 11-by-14-inch Oriole team photo is in full color, and since the season still has a couple of days to go, it can still be ordered easily through the mail. And all it costs you is $1. Send your order to Photo, Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. That's $1 for the 1975 team photograph.
Swing and a miss, strike 1. Verizon going after that Palmer fastball. I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Palmer didn't hold much of it back. 1 strike now to Verizon. He slide to right field. Palmer cranks and throws again. The big right-hander's pitch is high and inside. A ball, a strike. The 1-1 pitch. Verizon hits a high fly ball to left field, and Baylor's got it measured. Coming up through that heavy going, Baylor's there to make the catch. We have 1 gone. Look at Jerry Manuel. Jerry Manuel appearing now in his 3rd game for the Tigers. He's been to the plate twice against Palmer without a base hit. And Manuel has gone to the plate a total of 9 times now for Detroit without a base on. He's a switcher and against the left-handed batter. Well, the Orioles will wrap it up with a doubleheader tomorrow night against the Detroit Tigers. Here's a ball 2 outside. 2-0 now. The count to Manuel. And right back. Strike is called. 2 balls and 1 strike. Wrap it up with a doubleheader tomorrow night beginning at 5:30 here at Memorial Stadium. Weather permitting. Palmer's 2-1 offering. 9 outside. 3 balls and a strike now to Jerry Manuel. And following Manuel will be Ron LaFleur. Palmer's 3-1 for left-handed. High pop-up, first base side. Bob Grich is back and waiting on the outfield grass. He's got it for the second half. To that. Has bounced short, fly to right, and bounced to the mound. 0 for 3. Palmer, working very rapidly, has had 1 string where he retired 13 in a row. Throws inside for a ball 1 to LaFleur. Speed this man has. He made quite a bit of improvement defensively. The pitch coming down to Ron is high again, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. And on the season is a .260 hitter. Palmer, here's a check. Ball
Navy takes a 2-0 record so far in the season to the Pacific Northwest. To face the University of Washington in college football. A team that Coach George Welsh describes as the best team we've faced so far. Coming off lopsided wins over Virginia and Connecticut, the Middies will meet the twice-defeated Huskies in what Welsh hopes will be a prestigious win for Navy, ranked number 20 by UPI's Board of Coaches. According to Welsh, no doubt about it, the best team we've faced so far. A win over them would really be a step up. Although the Huskies are 0-2, they lost to highly touted Arizona State and Texas, but played well until the late stages of those games. Welsh described the big team physically. He said they've got good speed and they've got good people at the skilled positions. He said their secondary is excellent, and I'm sure they will be ready for us. Welch discounted his team's high standing in the weekly ranking, saying he's surprised at the ranking, but he said, I don't know how he got there, but we'll take it. That's the first time Navy has reached the top 20 since Staubach played there 10 years ago.
Say, there's a doubleheader here tomorrow night. It starts at 5:30, and as far as we know, these should be the doubleheader pitchers tomorrow night. Mike Torres and Doyle Alexander for the Orioles. And as far as the Tigers are concerned, very likely right-handers Ray Bear and Dave LeMancher. Doubleheader, weather permitting, 5:30 tomorrow night. Now we're going to go to the bottom of the 8th inning right here. The Orioles have a big lead. They're comfortably ahead by a score of 8-1. They tied the game a run each in the second and then blew it open with a 5-run 5th inning. Well, Belanger against Larry LeGros as we hustle along to the bottom of the 8th. The pitch to Belanger, 2 high, ball 1. Just kind of a heavy sort of a mist rolling into the ballpark. I'll tell you what, the temperature is not jumping up very much. The 1-0 pitch to Belanger, swinging the ball strike. It's cool. And I think the Orioles can consider themselves indeed lucky that they were able to get this one inside. Fastball high to Belanger, 2 balls, 1 strike. Oh, not wasting any time. Pops it again. LeGros with a 3-1 pitch to the waiting Belanger on play. Ball 4, he's walking. LeGros came on and repeated. And he gave up the second walk. Belanger, Al Bunbury. Grounded a second, fly to right. Then in the 5th inning, he walked to load the bases and eventually scored run number 5. He walked again in the 6th inning and scored run number 8. Again, the big right-hander. As LeGros is ready, Belanger leads first with nobody up. Side ball. You something along about 5:30, 6 o'clock tonight. I would and thereby eliminate any chance of making a forced play on Belanger. Two out and runner at second base. And the batter now is going to be Ken Singleton. He has grounded a second, gone out unassisted to the first baseman, given an intentional walk, and then doubled. Larry LeGros ready to work to the big, strong, left-handed cutting Ken Singleton. Belanger is second and 2 down. Here comes the pitch. It's low for a ball. 9th inning for the Tigers. Molinaro, Ogilvie, and Horton are the new batters. One nothing pitch on the way. Right down the pipe. The strike is called. The ball is strike to Singleton. Bill and I will be talking to you again tomorrow at about 5:25, weather permitting. And perhaps we've gotten a break in this horrendous weather that's been all over the East. Of course, nothing is quite so bad as what the people down in the South have been suffering from that hurricane. Here's a ball in the dirt. 2 balls in the strike. Every time you think you've got some unfortunate weather, all you have to do is turn around, look over your shoulder, and you'll find somebody else who's got a whole lot worse. There are 2 down. Belanger, the runner at second base, and a count of 2 balls and a strike to Singleton as Larry LeGros pitching right along in relief of the starter Joe Coleman. Ready's now the 2-1 to Singleton. He missed with a breaking ball. It's 3 balls and a strike. The 3-1 on the way to Singleton. Ball 4, low and outside. Singleton has walked again. And for Larry LeGros, that will be his 3rd walk, and Lee May steps in. For the Oriole outfielder Ken Singleton, with 2 more walks tonight, he now runs a total of 116. Lee May has gone 1 for 4 this evening. That one was a dandy, a 2-run single in the 5th inning. A foul ball coming right back up over
the booth and out of play. Strike one. Sounds like the spirit of our engineer, Page Reeder. He said, well, they're getting closer. Referring to the foul ball. Listen, Scoop, you mean they've got it zeroed in and you don't want them to fire for effect. Now the one strike offering. Runners leading first and second. Pitch to May. Foul ball headed toward the Tiger booth. Well, now he's 2 for 2. He's gotten both of them. We're happy to report that Paul Carey and Ernie Harwell are perfectly all right. That's an okay over there. All right. 2 strikes. The count for the batter, Lee May. The other way, Lee. 2 out. 8-1 the Orioles. Runners first and second base, and LeGros trying to get Lee May here with 2 down. High pop-up, first base side, shallow right. The second baseman, Jerry Manuel, waiting on the outfield grass down behind first, has got it for the final out. Well, that's 8 innings now, the score. The Orioles 8, the Tigers 1.
Updating the scoreboard in Major League Baseball. First of all, that important doubleheader between Boston and New York at New York postponed because of rain, both games. And as a result, they'll have to wait till the end of the season and see just what effect those games will have on the pennant race. If it's necessary, they'll go ahead and play on Monday, the day after the official ending of the season. That's only if those games would have an effect on the pennant race. In the game we're listening to right now, Baltimore leading Detroit by the score of 8-1 with the Tigers batting in the top of the ninth. Coleman against Palmer with LeGros in there pitching for Detroit in relief of Coleman earlier. Palmer continuing to pitch for Baltimore. But the second game of the scheduled doubleheader will not be played tonight. It'll be one game only. Milwaukee beat Cleveland 10-3, 10-12-1 for the Brewers, 3-8-3 errors for Cleveland. Colburn went the distance for his 11th win against 3 losses. Peterson, Brown, and LaRoche for Cleveland. Peterson, the loser, 14-8. Scott hit his 34th home run for the Brewers with 2 on in the second. Kansas City leads Minnesota 2-0 after 6. Hughes for Minnesota. Littell, Sadecki, and McDaniel for Kansas City.
The ace of the Orioles staff, Jim Palmer, and his 22nd victory of this year are Molinaro, Ogilvie, and Horton, the 2-3-4 men. Molinaro 1 for 3, Ogilvie 0 for 3. Horton is 1 for 3 and has scored the only Tiger run. That was way back in the second inning, and since that time, Palmer's only given up 2 base hits.
Well, here is Molinaro. 1 for 3, popped the short, popped the second, and then singled, and Palmer's a bit high. Ball 1 as we start the top of the ninth. The Orioles 8-1 over the Tigers, and nibble a little bit out of that Boston Red Sox lead of 4 games, chew it back down to 3.5. Palmer is low, ball 2. Well, I'm sure a lot of you have given some thought to maybe Palmer going as long as he has gone tonight. I think one of the big reasons is the fact that according to my scorecard, he has not thrown that many pitches. There have been very few, if any, 3-2 counts. Now a strike is called, 2 balls and a strike. And the next time Palmer walks the batter, it'll be the first time tonight, the 2-1. Outside, ball 3, 3 balls and a strike. And of course, the number of pitches thrown is, the major consideration, I'm sure, as far as the length of Palmer's stay. The 3-1 offering, and that he is coming back Sunday. A swing and a foul going to be out of play. Heavy fog rolling into Memorial Stadium right now, so we've got a full count, 3-2. Molinaro, Ogilvie, and Horton are the 2 batters to Palmer in the top of the ninth inning. Here's his payoff, 3-2 pitch to Molinaro. Fly ball, well hit center field. Blair has got it measured. Squares off, and Paul makes the catch for the first out. 1 gone in the ninth. And Mr. Molinaro hit the ball very sharply. 1 gone, and we get Ogilvie on a bounce out to third. He struck out and then hit into a 1-6-3. Pitcher to short, the first double play in the 6th inning. Ogilvie, slenderly built, left-handed swinger. A 294 hitter coming in tonight. Palmer's got a strike at the knees, the inside corner. And right back. High and outside with a changeup. Ball a strike. 5:30 tomorrow night, and we expect that it'll be Doyle Alexander and Mike Torres for the Orioles. Swinging a ground ball, sharply hit it, Gritch. The second baseman's got it. The throw to first, 2 down in the ninth. And just guessing, the Detroit Tigers tomorrow pitch Ray Bear in one game of the doubleheader. and Lemanchek in the other. Of course, those probables are subject to change. Here's Willie Horton. He singled back in the second inning, and that amounted to the only run the Tigers have picked up tonight against Palmer. He retired at one string, 13 in a row. Swinging a pop-up out into shallow center field. Back goes the second baseman. On comes the center fielder. Blair, you can't get to it. He gave it everything in the book, trying to get that final out of the ball game, but it was just hit just much too shallow for Blair to really have a chance, and then Gritch was much too deep for Gritch to get back on. Now Earl Weaver is out talking to Nestor Shylock. What it's all about, I haven't the slightest idea. It isn't any kind of, serious argument. Earl just had something that he felt needed to be said to Shylock. And he's now, giving Weaver the sign, one. What it's all about, I have the slightest idea. That's the first time Earl's been out of the dugout tonight. Horton has blooped a single into center field. Hit number 6 on the board for the Tigers. They got 3 of those hits back in the second inning. And now here's Dan Meyer. The pitch is a strike call to Dan. Meyer singled, fly to right, grounded to second base. Palmer with 2 out on the top of the ninth, leading the Tigers 8-1, 1 out away from his 22nd win of the year. Palmer throws. Here's a line drive caught by Palmer, and the game is over. Oh, what a shot. Chin high, just off the left ear. Palmer gave it that nonchalant slap of the glove and walked into the dugout with his 22nd win. That's it. The Orioles win at 8-1, and Bill will be back in 95 seconds.
Okay, we'll be getting back for the wrap-up of tonight's game as the Baltimore Orioles have cut a half a game now off the lead by the Boston Red Sox in the American League East. And the reason, of course, if you have just joined us, you don't know the reason. The reason being Boston at New York, 2 games postponed because of rain. So the lead for Boston drops to 3.5 games. 7 games remaining to play now for the Baltimore Orioles. The magic number remains 4 for the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox have 6 games remaining to play. Baltimore is now 89 wins and 66 losses. The Tigers dropped to 57 and 99, and Detroit now 36 full games out of first place in the American League East. Of course, the attention is not on the Detroit Tigers, but the attention is on the Baltimore Orioles, who, as I have mentioned, moved to 3.5 games away from Boston in the American League East. Now, as far as other action in the American League is concerned, Milwaukee clobbered Cleveland 10-3, 10-12-1 for Milwaukee, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 3 errors for Cleveland. Colburn, the winning pitcher's record 11-3. Peterson, the loser, 14-8. Scott hit his 34th home run for Milwaukee with 2 on in the second. Colburn going the distance for Milwaukee for that 11th win. Minnesota and Kansas City are tied 2-2 after 6.5.
Well, what was originally scheduled to be a 5:30 twilight doubleheader winds up to be one ball game, a single game, won by the Orioles in big style, 8-1. The only game we played took more than 3 hours to get underway. Matter of fact, it was 3 hours and 20 minutes before this only game was played. But the ball game itself took only an hour and 59 minutes to finish, thanks in great part to the pitching performance of Jim Palmer. Palmer throws a 6-hitter, wins his 22nd game of the year, and his Oriole mates gave him 8 runs and 10 base hits. Here are the totals on the game now. The Orioles 8 runs, 10 hits, no errors. They left 8. The Tigers a run, 6 hits, 1 error, and they left 4. Palmer went all the way to gain his 22nd victory of the year, and that matches his previous career high. Jim also won 22 ball games in 1973. He'll have a chance over the weekend at New York to gain his 23rd win against the Yankees. Joe Coleman was the Tigers starter. He came out during a 5-run Orioles 5th inning when they took a lead of 6-1. Coleman was relieved by LeGros through the final innings. Coleman, the loser, 10 and 18 on the year. We'll be back with final highlights of tonight's game after this message.
Okay, rather than do that, let's continue with the baseball scoreboard. As I mentioned, Minnesota and Kansas City are now in the bottom of the 7th. Kansas City needs to continue winning to hang in the West. Chicago and Oakland getting underway shortly at Oakland. Jefferson against Blue. An Oakland win or a Kansas City loss, and it's all over in the American League West. Kansas City was leading 2-0, but now Minnesota has tied in the 7th, so Kansas City batting in the bottom of the 7th, and it's a 2-2 tie. Chicago and Oakland underway shortly. Texas at California, not scheduled. In the National League, Chicago 1-0 over New York in 11 innings. Tom Seaver started for New York, had a no-hitter going until 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Joe Wallace's base hit broke it up, and Chicago won it in the 11th. San Francisco and Atlanta, and the Braves won it 7-6. The second game was postponed because of rain. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh 8-1. Montreal 6-2 over St. Louis. This broadcast was authorized under rights granted by the Tigers and the Orioles and was intended solely for the entertainment of the AFRTS listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written permission of the Tigers and the Orioles is prohibited. Once again, the final score, Baltimore 8, Detroit 1. Now this is Ken Allen speaking for engineer George Sollers. This has been a presentation of AFRTS Sports Washington. This is the